budget with mine. I have no business trying to run a podcast. What's up, Chris?
What's up, fellas?
How we doing?
Yeah, doing pretty good.
I'm back to training at 100% with my leg, I think, so I'm super stoked.
Hamstring healed up.
It feels much better. I mean, Saturday is going to be the dry run, I guess, so we'll see. But I train quads at 100% this week, so.
Oh, good.
You pull something?
Yeah, I popped my hamstring pretty good a little over 2 weeks ago, and I don't know. I was just nervous about it. I have never really had in-gym injuries, knock on wood. I mean, I've ruptured my Achilles completely, but that was outside of the gym. And I popped my hamstring before, but that was trying to run. So, I don't know. I was just nervous it's going to set me back a bit, but it seems to be going okay.
Hamstrings can be tough, man. I did that probably, it's already 2025, probably 6-7 years ago. And it definitely took a while to get back in there. Just take it slow.
Yeah, just slow and steady. Slow and steady. So how's your guys' night going?
Doing good. I just got back from training. Another good session. Finally back on my shit, so feeling good.
Hell yeah. What gym what's the normal gym you train out of? Is it the one that Justin O'Donnell does?
Yeah, Raw. I mean, dude, the gym is like second to fucking none. It's probably the best gym I've been in.
It looks really good.
I gotta come down there and train there with you guys soon.
Yeah, man, let me know.
Yeah.
Space.
Once I'm out of this health phase, then it'll be fun.
I'm just stepping into my health phase, which I'm excited for because I am sick of pushing. I'm going to be a
dude.
It's like that. You get sick of pushing. You get sick of eating a bunch, or you get sick of the health phase.
If you're doing it right, man. If you're doing it, pushing is miserable.
It's miserable.
Yeah. Anyone who says that they can do that year round is not doing it right.
Yeah, for sure.
And it sucks because you feel sluggish and tired all the time when you're eating a bunch of food. And then when you get in the gym, though, you just feel like an absolute juggernaut,
Oh, yeah.
And then you get out of the gym, you're like, ugh.
Yeah. That's what I say. Bodybuilding bodies are only cool for about 90 minutes a day. That's it.
And 2 minutes on stage.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you guys ever watch? So I'm obsessed with like survival shows. Like my obsession started with Man vs. Wild. I don't know if you remember that show.
I remember that.
Back in high school, and I fucking love that show. But we watch this show Alone now, which is like 10 people go out in the wild, and they're all separated. And nobody tells you when people are going home. So if you're the last to be out there, you win like $500,000 or something.
Oh, wow.
And I'm obsessed with shit like that. So we just finished the newest season in Australia. It was pretty.
What was that other show? It was like Naked and Afraid or something.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. I watched that one for a few episodes, and there was one dude that was on that show. I forget what his name was, but he was an absolute moron. And I'm like, this dude would not make it. And I couldn't watch it after that. I was just it wasn't even funny. I was annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm over here yelling at the TV. It's like, dude, do this, do that.
I know. It's so funny because like I constantly talk shit to these competitors that are out doing this. And it's like, dude, I couldn't be naked and last a night in the woods. Like, I'm such a pussy. Like, I'd be so cold and complaining about every mosquito. But all right, let's this is how this podcast is not bodybuilding ever.
It's a good mix.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
A bunch of the employees at the gym that I train at, they watch the podcast. Like I came in from last week. They're like, "Oh, we saw you on the podcast. That one's really good."
Man, that's very nice to hear.
Mixing up some traction. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, because I don't know if it's ever good.
You know what? I think I'm a firm believer if you're going to put out content, just put out content and be yourself, and you're gonna find the right crowd at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think you get too rigid too early. You leave yourself like not open to kind of gelling and just moving in the direction it should naturally. And people know when you're being a stiff. So
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you're
For
being
sure.
fake and talking about a bunch of BS.
I also feel like a lot of bodybuilding podcasts are pretty repetitive. Like I have a few that I love to listen to, but a lot of them always feel like, what are you eating these days? What do like it's like
we do
Everyone's eating chicken and rice. Everyone's
we do
eating
the
ground
same
beef and
shit.
some kind of red meat. Everyone's
Sa-
taking tests. Like, come on.
Same shit every day. Thanks. Check in
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. Oh yeah, but I still listen to them and I love them. So Mike, give the people that watch this a little synopsis of who you are.
Sure. So for those that don't know me, my name is Mike Condell. I went pro in 2021. Probably the least interesting thing about me. I have a degree in engineering, currently a program manager for MIT Lincoln Labs. My family and I just moved to Port St. Lucie down here in Florida from just north of the border in New Hampshire. So we're just settling in, getting used to this. I'm a lot closer to my coach here. Obviously, we talked about earlier, Raw, which is an amazing gym. Just getting used to things down here and trying to settle in and get after it. Um, been at this for shit, almost 15 years at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a wife, a son who's 7. Just trying to continually rebalance all of that stuff and make sure I'm not, not letting anything slip when I'm paying too much attention to something else. And um, it's really it. I got, if there's any questions, happy to answer them. But like we just said, this stuff is repetitive. It's the same day every day for 6 months on end. So
I
Mike,
do want to ask.
you had a pretty good pro debut, like rookie year. You did 2 shows. You placed top 3 in both shows.
yeah, so my debut was Chiseled, which was actually a first time show down that's actually down here in Boca, I believe. And took second there to I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. He's Colombian. So took second there, and then went on to Chicago and took third, and we decided to shut it down. And I guess to add to the kind of intro, after Chicago, my mother was in the hospital, so kind of just shut down bodybuilding for about 6 months because she ended up passing away in November. And the move down here is kind of only what got me rolling again. So I've only been back in the gym for a little over 4 weeks consistently. That includes training, eating, sups, all that. So trying to get us lost ground here, see if we can salvage this season, potentially do something later in the year. But you're only going to see me on stage if I can be better than I was in 2024. So
Sure, sure.
Did you feel all that rest actually helped your body like heal up and everything?
yeah, I mean, not that anybody should take it as like a license to take 6 months off and fuck off, but I do think the breaks matter. I'm a big believer in the contrast between, on and off season and prep. And I think you need some downtime in the middle. I think most guys spend way too much time pushing hard, whether it's pushing up or pushing down. Um, Too afraid to let go of a little bit of scale weight. But I went from walking around at like 210, 211 when I got here to now I'm weighing in at almost 225, which is where I was at the start of prep last year. So
Nice.
my advice is like take a little time, even if it's a couple, 2 or 3 months on some low TRT, minimal training, a little break from the food. Take a break, let your body recover. Anything you lose is going to come right back if you've been doing it right. So
Yeah, there were a couple of studies I just saw. I forget. I don't even know I don't know if they were clinical studies or not. But it was more or less saying that even if you took like a month to 2 months off from the gym, the amount of the rate of muscle loss was going to be very minimal.
yeah, and it snaps back really fast.
Very
And
quickly. Yeah.
the other one that I saw recently, there's 2 of them actually, both about what it takes to retain muscle. And it's something like no matter how you cut it, it's like 30% of uh, 30% of your volume or 30% of the intensity that it normally takes to build muscle to retain muscle. So if you take like, a couple weeks off, reduce your volume like crazy, get some rest, let everything heal up, get some contrast from on to off, I think it's going to benefit everybody. I don't think anyone's spending enough time in that down state just recovering a bit.
I've done that myself somewhat recently, and I can tell you that I was telling Mike, maybe, I don't know if it was last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, that I'm finally training now where nothing hurts. Nothing. Like, I don't have any nagging injuries, but like my bones hurt, like, and everything, like my ankles would hurt. And it wasn't like I was holding like any water or like edema or anything like that. I just my body just needed a break.
Yeah. Sometimes it needs that. I feel like everybody thinks that like if you stop training or dial back the intensity, like you were saying, Mike, that the muscle is just going to poof and disappear, right? Like the only way that happens is if, you were never training correctly, never eating correctly, and
right.
blasting a whole bunch of gear. Like anybody who takes this serious, the muscles, it's not going anywhere. Look how hard it is for some guys who, retire from this sport
Right.
to downsize, right? Like years and years. The muscle's pretty solidified.
I think so. Compton trains down here, just in Compton. You remember how crazy he was? I think I don't know him personally, but from what I see in the gym and what I see on social media, he seems to be struggling to downsize at all. You guys remember what Seth Feroci when he was trying to do that for a little bit? Like it's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Even Ian Valliere hasn't like lost much at all. He's still pretty freaking strong too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much PEDs to keep it. TRT can keep plenty of tissue if you're still training. I don't know. I just once again, it's the uninformed that seems to be informing people the most these days. And
man, I just had a conversation about this today. It's like the vast majority of Instagram and TikTok for fitness and bodybuilding is like 20-year-olds with no education incorrectly interpreting shitty study data, and it's like, I really don't even give a fuck if you have a degree even. Like if you're using all these new studies to come out and tell me, speak in absolutes about training when you haven't spent more than 18 months in the gym, you have no business telling anybody anything.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere.
And if all those studies were like legit gospel, law, everyone would be training the exact same way all the time, and you look at everyone that's trained. I mean, you look at all the strength studies that show like minimal sets to failure, like 1 to 2 top sets. But then you look at someone like Jay Cutler, who was resting 30 seconds in between sets, doing 4 to 5 sets per exercise, a little bit different. That kind of goes against what the studies say. I think the biggest take home, which I always tell people, is studies are really cool and they provide a pretty clear picture of what's going on, but everyone's body is very different. And I think a really smart or educated person can extrapolate what's from the study to apply it to themselves or their clients that makes it work for them, because it's not all one size fits all,
Well, my other thing about the whole training thing especially is, obviously a lot of literature, and I think it's good that it's going this way. A lot of it points to, what I have you doing, how I train, how most of the guys that are progressing like crazy right now train is, lower volume, higher frequency, super high intensity. I can assure you, if I did not have to train the way I train, I would not, because it might be fun, but man, like you said, it's very rare to be training and progressing fast and not have something that hurts, not wake up in the morning sore and tight. Like if I didn't have to add gym pins to equipment, you can be damn sure I would not be doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Even just sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, even just taking plates off the damn leg press is just it's a pain in the ass. I need to have like a gym caddy that just follows me around and takes my weights off.
Like the guys in the 90s. You ever watch the MOC videos? I watch them all the time on. So many of those guys, they had training partners. Just guys that put weights on and off or handed them weights.
Yep.
I don't think I could ever do that though. You know how pretentious I would feel if I just had a person that followed me around and like loaded everything up for me. Ugh.
It's
My plate servant.
it's funny how like I think a lot of the people you're talking about, I think correct me if I'm wrong, are in foreign countries. It's wild how big of a celebrity some of these guys are in these foreign countries.
Yeah.
When like here, aside from like Bumstead and maybe
Yeah.
Phil Heath and Nick Walker, no one fucking knows who you are. But like your average Brazilian pro bodybuilder is like a celebrity and is like
Yeah.
getting attention, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, whenever one of them loses to somebody else, they're all in the comments just going off.
Oh man, you can't go after the fans, man. That's
No, I know. I'm just saying it's just funny. Like they're just so loyal. Like they're so loyal to all like the Brazilian bodybuilders or ones in the Middle East are just super loyal, and you
Oh
can
yeah.
see that.
They'll do like those comparison pictures, like you'll be like Hottie up against like Ronnie Coleman or something like that. And then just the comment section are just filled with like Hottie is king, Hottie is supreme. It's like, guys, like that's very great that you have pride in your countrymen, but like keep it 100. Like
uh, and
so
that's all good. That's great if that's all it was limited to. But the thing that stood out to me, and I felt super bad when this happened. Nothing to do with me, but I can just sympathize with the position. Is Derek won that Olympia, and
yeah.
like every single fucking comment on everything he made was Hottie fans saying that Hottie got robbed. It's like
Yep.
I
Well,
think,
not only that, apparently he was getting like threats. Like his
yeah,
wife was getting threats, and what's crazy? I went on one of the posts. I compared Hottie and Derek pose for pose. I'm like, this is just how I saw it, which is what the judges saw. I got death threats in my DMs,
It's crazy.
like me, and I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah. I think like so I'm pretty into the fishing community, the bass fishing community too. And there's toxicity in all niche
right.
things, right? But like bodybuilding these days, and I don't know if it's because we're so deep in it, it seems not amongst competitors, but
Right.
amongst fans. Man, it is one of the most toxic places I've ever seen.
It can be. It definitely
It's
can
wild.
be. Well,
It's
you know what the
wild.
you don't want to know what the problem is, and this is with like everything, even like politics, even competitive modeling. If there's a thing, you have like before social media, right? You'd see successful people on magazines. If there was interviews, you'd see all these successful people. So all you're seeing is people that are doing, people that are making things happen. And now what happens is there's there's clearly more uneducated people than there are incredibly smart people. So that's the majority. And now the majority has a voice.
Yeah.
So it's like you have all these like people that are ignorant or maybe not educated on the matter. They're just rattling off shit, and everyone else is like, oh, agreeing with them. Like
Yeah.
they'll see competitors on stage and like, oh, their elbows aren't symmetrical. Like they'll write shit like that, and then you're like, okay, And that's the problem with it. And that's where all these other people get, these back to the topic where the younger kids, they're putting out all this information. I mean, you'll see them on like Nick Walker. They're criticizing his form or his physique. Like they'll sit there and bash Hottie because he's training too explosive. Not one rep was done. It's like imagine criticizing like Tom Brady of not being a good quarterback from like a kid that plays like pee wee football.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That's the bad part about social media today, man. I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I talk about it a lot. You don't even have to have a talent to be famous or make money anymore.
Right. There's no
You know,
barrier to entry.
yeah,
Yep.
you could just make an ass out of yourself if you're cool with that, which is weird. I don't know why certain people do it, but I mean, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things I'm not gonna do. I feel this, and it's funny you say that because I feel the same way about all professional athletes. Like, you know how sometimes you watch a professional athlete and you're like, oh, he's a bum, but he's really not.
Yeah.
He's really not a bum. He's just at the highest level, and everybody at that level is special.
Right.
I've seen guys that don't sniff any time in the NBA come into my neighborhood and destroy everybody at the playground. And then you're like, does he even miss? Like, does he miss a basket?
Yep.
That was
100%.
I think it was Scalabrini that said it. He's like, I'm a lot closer to LeBron than you are to me.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think the reason bodybuilding's so bad is like, how much access do any of us have to an NFL athlete. Like you don't get to communicate with an NFL athlete. You might get to like drop a question somewhere when they happen to be on a TV show. You might get to like shake their hand when they're doing an appearance or they're coming back from practice, but you don't get to interact with anybody in any other sport like you do in bodybuilding. And not that it's a bad thing, right? But there's there's something about the constant accessibility of bodybuilding athletes, pro athletes, high level amateurs, that just changes the conversation.
That's a
And
really good point, Mike.
I don't know that maybe it is exclusively social media, but I don't know. I remember when I was, a young guy just trying to come up in this, and you saw somebody, you didn't even know if he was pro, but let's assume he was pro. You saw somebody who was pro in the gym. You didn't like walk up, interrupt their set, ask for a picture, ask for an autograph. Like you let that dude finish what he was doing, and if you could catch him on the way out, you caught him on the way out.
Yep.
And that's just not that's not the way things are anymore.
Yeah, I don't think people have. I always say I respect the sport, and when I decided I wanted to take bodybuilding serious, when I decided I wanted to give bodybuilding a shot, I watched bodybuilding and I watched older bodybuilders, and I engulfed myself in the culture. And it's funny you say that because I remember my first show in 2015 when Phil Heath was on his run and Kai Green, they were in Pittsburgh at the Pittsburgh, and he was in the gym at a local gym training him and Hani, and nobody bothered him. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like everybody knew not to bother him. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you're right. This people just have too much access to us like that. Like you can't just walk up to Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? And and
Right.
and, and say anything to him. You can't just walk up to Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like you just can't do those things.
I think another thing that and it's a double-edged sword, right? We always talk about in bodybuilding, hard work's the number one. I feel that sometimes that narrative gets misconstrued is in the fact of like, Branch would always say, there are guys who had better genetics than me, but I just outworked them.
Right.
And I think sometimes that mentality gets passed down to the next generation is this is the one sport that you can just jump into. And if you just work your ass off, you can be Mr. Olympia. And sometimes it's deeper than that, right? Like hard work is the most important, but not everybody, unfortunately, is going to be blessed to be able to get to the pro level. It's
Right.
it but the narrative of hard work in bodybuilding gets spoken so much that I think sometimes people think if I just work hard and push it and max it out all the time, I'll eventually get there. And if I don't get there, then it's because those other guys were lying, and it's not hard work.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. There are a lot of things.
Or a logical person just has some self accountability and just be like, I wasn't good enough.
Right. Right.
I did every single thing I possibly could, and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't in the cards.
That's the thing. The hardest thing for someone to do is a self-assessment.
Yep.
I always tell people, natty or enhanced, the common denominator is fucking food. And staying consistent when it comes to that. I can't people always ask the wrong questions. When I say,
Yes.
what kind of tips do you what kind of tips do you have? I say stay consistent. Because you don't have to be perfect, but you need to be consistent. You need a routine. You need a system. This has to be what you want to do. I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and I said, there's a difference. And the way I look at bodybuilding is there's two types of bodybuilders. There are bodybuilders who do it for external reasons, the things that they think is real, right? The glitz, the glamour. I'm gonna be the next C-bum, right? But then there's bodybuilders, I feel like myself and you guys we love the sport. We train to win. We expect to win, but we also understand this is bodybuilding and there's always room for improvement. And as long as I'm getting better every time I step on stage, I can live with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I never get discouraged when I don't win. I don't get discouraged about anything because at the end of the day, I like doing it for myself. And when I got into the sport, I didn't get into the sport, oh, I want to turn pro, or oh, I'm looking for that big contract. And it was not, none of that mattered. Literally, all of my achievements were just the cherry on top of the cake. You know what I'm saying? I had zero expectations when I came into the sport, but as a competitor, I wanted to be good, but I was fortunate enough too to play on a championship football team. Like I learned about pedigree and just certain things that you have to do that you don't want to do in order to get to where you want to go. And it's funny because I'm sure you guys have, when you're coaching people and you start working with somebody and 3 or 4 weeks comes around and they're like asking for changes and you're like, dude, it's been 2 3 fucking weeks. You want me to change your meals? You want me to change your workout routine? What the fuck?
Oh
You
yeah.
always find those people, like, coaching people. You'll have those people that have never done it before, and they just get it right off the bat.
Yeah.
They follow it. Then you're gonna have other people they just won't necessarily see the big picture where they might snack a little bit in between meals. And then they're like, oh, how come I'm not losing weight? They don't understand like that extra 200 calories compounded over 7 days being an extra 1,400 calories you've consumed in that week could potentially be the part where it's the difference between not losing weight and losing weight. And what I tell other people too, they think like, oh, maybe if I give 60%, I'll get 60% results. There's sometimes if you don't give 100%, you do not get any results.
Man, listen, I get the main question I get every time is, all right, so what can I snack on? There's no fucking snacking, dog. Like, what do you mean? What can I snack on?
You got
If it
meal
ain't
1,
on the
2,
meal
3,
plan,
4, 5.
oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's one of the reasons why too. I think that sometimes people just don't really respect the sport is they, you know, they know like, us as professionals or us high caliber bodybuilders, they know we use enhancements. So in their mind, they feel like the drugs are everything. And it's like, listen, man, I know fat, sloppy looking people who run way more gear than people who look like the real fucking deal. You understand? Now, you got to put everything together, so people don't think that they can get results unless they're doing what you're doing, eating how you eat. And it's like, bro, you just got to go through the process yourself in this sport because everything's going to be different for everybody.
Or they're just impatient too, and they don't want to wait. It's a simple formula. It's discipline plus consistency, and it's over time. That's like what you need to do to improve.
Exactly, Chris. Like that's what I was gonna say. It's I don't think that when they don't like hearing that like you're probably not going to be a good bodybuilder for 6 to 8 years. Like
Right.
you're just not. You're like you might want to get there now. And at the same time, going off what you said, Doug, it's like bodybuilding is one of those sports that might never love you back.
100%.
Bodybuilding is a one-way street. You might love it as much as anything in the world, and
Facts.
it might never give you anything in return from it.
Facts.
So you gotta be ready for that too.
I think I forget who I was talking to about this about, but the biggest issue I think I see now that this is like kind of risen to this like, oh, fitness and bodybuilding's for everybody, which like great, yes, fitness is. I hope everybody gets in the gym, gets healthy, gets strong. That's great, but bodybuilding's not for everybody. And the proliferation of it on social media and all these influencers getting like millions of followers not that I would ever mention anybody's fucking name here, but let's be straight. Like absolutely mid-average physiques that are just taken in lighting that looks good, and guys that have a personality, like, cool, do your thing. But that's not bodybuilding.
Nope.
And the proliferation of it has made everybody think that bodybuilding's for them. And one of the worst outcomes, I think, from this is going to be people pushing too hard, too long to try and fit themselves into a box they don't fit in.
Facts.
Because it's not just about like, can you build muscle? It's not just about can you eat? It's not just about can you train hard? Not just about can you sleep 8 hours a night? Sometimes it's about can you prep and not be like toxic as fuck by the time it's time to get on stage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you get through an off season without extreme blood pressure and all these other organ issues? And do you live a life that allows you to do this for a minimum? Like 6 months is a minimum if you want to put together a good off season or a good prep. And the minimum isn't going to get your ass by. Like you need to be able to do this for years on end at some level of consistency that's above 90%. Because like Chris said, you might give 60, 70, 80 and get 0 to 20 in return. If you don't live a life that allows you to do that, this is not going to be for you. And what you're going to end up doing, which I think a lot of these younger kids are doing, is when they don't see the return on 50, 60, 70, the default is more drugs.
Man,
Because
because when I got into bodybuilding, one thing I knew, because I read it, is I read that it takes the average person 5 to 7 years to build that pro physique to be able to compete at an amateur level, elite amateur level. And everybody sees the 1 show, 2 show pros. Everybody sees the exceptions to the rule,
right.
and forget that everybody that is not fucking everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think Lee Labrada said once that it's like a minimum 10 years to build a world-class physique.
facts.
Yep.
You gotta think of it like for those of you guys listening right now, that's an entire fucking decade of being consistent, like not partying, not doing recreational drugs, not drinking, like not going out and eating whatever the fuck you want. Like that is 10 years sticking to a plan, 10 years of force feeding in the off season if you're up to that part, plus dieting down to get lean, and it's just repetitive cycle.
Yeah. And like Mike said too, in that 10 years, not having certain complications. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes shit happens, and like you guys, but I know Mike, you've been hearing me say it. This is my 10th year bodybuilding. And I'm just thankful because when I did my first show, I never had any intentions of doing this shit 10 years later. I just fell in love with it and I like it. You know what I'm saying? So for me to have been competing for 10 years and, I still got my marriage. I got, what I mean? I got my house.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like life isn't perfect, but life is good. You understand?
Right.
And I'm excited for the future. And I just wish that sometimes people see me and I make it look easy to them, but I'm like, this shit wasn't fucking easy, bro. Like nothing about what I've been doing the past 10 years is easy. You know what I'm saying? And I do wish that people understand that, like you said, if you're going to get into the sport, understand that you may never win.
Yep.
Like you may never win. If you do, great. But if you don't, that doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean just mean bodybuilding ain't your twist. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 5'6". I wanted to play in the NFL. Them dreams was long gone after 8th grade, and I stopped growing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So, Mike, you have clients.
Yep.
Do you do more of diet stuff? Because I know Chris was saying you do his training, or is a lot of it
So
your training?
I offer it all. I've been getting a lot more inquiries about training, which is good because that's where I put most of the effort into the content I produce. So I'm glad to see that people are, that's returning something to me. But I'm, in addition to being a pro, in addition to being a coach, I also have a full-time career. So I keep my roster. I don't think my roster's ever gotten over 10, which I like because it allows me to not have to take on everybody. Because I'll tell you straight away, I don't care how this sounds to anybody listening. I don't like working with lifestyle people anymore. It's not that there's anything wrong with lifestyle clients. They're a big part of the industry. Everyone should be doing this to try and improve their lives. But where I'm at with my career and my wife and son and bodybuilding, like, I just don't have time to drag you through why you should eat the diet I sent you and why you should do this instead of that. Like that's for someone else. There are plenty of coaches that are very, very good at that. I'm not one of them. So yeah, I keep about 10. The training thing's been picking up. It's kind of become, I wouldn't call it my niche because I'm certainly not like on like a Nick Gloff level. But I'm striving for stuff like that, and training's what like gets me going. That's where I enjoy kind of expanding and talking about this. So,
do you? So I actually haven't checked. I know I've seen some videos of you and Justin, but like, do you do training stuff via YouTube?
So my social media presence is terrible. So I appreciate you guys having me on because it's helped. But I'm just terrible at. I've been terrible at it. I'm trying to fix it now that I'm in kind of a more comfortable place with a little more time, a little better environment to try and pick that up. And YouTube is at the top of the list of things that I need to get moving. I've been lucky enough to be featured in a couple videos with Justin Jacoby for Raw, and then I did get to do one a couple weeks ago with Justin O'Donnell for Blackstone. And now that, like I said, I'm in a good environment, there's plenty of media producers down here. Going to start hopefully getting some regular content moving for myself, which definitely includes YouTube. So
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's not as easy. Like for me, I need a camera guy and a videographer.
100%.
I'm not trying to like recording myself and then sifting through fucking hours of fucking content. My brain be ready to explode. I'd rather pay somebody to do that shit.
100%, man. You have to. I mean, I film myself training fairly frequently, but that's just my iPhone on a tripod.
Mm-hmm.
And I post that stuff, but a lot of it isn't really edited or, produced to any level. And the majority of the use for me has nothing to do with social media. I get to look back at my sets and see I could have got another rep there. Yeah. I added weight last week. That got a little sloppy. I need to fix that. Yeah. And that sort of stuff. I mean, God bless the guys that can do it regularly. I know it's what the industry is now, right? It used to be photo shoots in magazines and guest appearances, and now it's, reels and YouTube videos. So
I always tell myself I'm going to film a bunch of stuff, and then I go in the gym and I just focus on training.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
novel idea.
I had some good shit. I didn't film nothing.
So what's interesting about that? I had to tell a group of young kids that, because how people come up and ask questions all the time. I had a couple of young kids come over to me, ask for some advice, and first thing I said, well, I see y'all in here all the time. Y'all talk a lot, and you training with too many people. You're more concerned with your content than your training. And he looked at me like, And he was like, all right, OG. And I'm glad that he was receptive to it because I wasn't trying to be a dick. Right. And I noticed a lot of times, even for myself, when I was trying to do the video thing a lot, it was definitely taken away from my training. Trying to find the right angle, the lighting. I ain't got time for all that shit. I'm going to set up my camera because I'm the same as you. I got over 5,000 videos in my phone. I don't even have that many posts on Instagram because I like to watch my sets and my reps to make sure I'm keeping track of everything that I'm doing too. But I see a lot of the younger generation, they pay more attention to that content. And they lack getting the results because too long of breaks. You're training with 6 guys, all y'all talking. Ain't nobody really pushing each other, I like to make sure that people understand like tempo is a thing. And if you're trying to record yourself and you're focused more on that, it'll take away from your training.
Yeah, like there's 6 of you on that chest press. I didn't see one of you help anybody with a rep. What the fuck are y'all doing?
But what's kind of cool? They actually it's a drone.
I did see that. That's gonna be fucking drones zipping around the gym now.
Oh no! Well, so there's a drone that's like this that you can actually program it to scan you, and it literally follows you around. Oh shit! And the only reason why I found out about this is because I was doing a couple months ago. I was doing I think it was doing bent over barbell rows, and all of a sudden I look over and there's a fucking drone flying by my head, and I literally smashed the thing out of the sky. Like Godzilla just swatting a plane. And then I went up there, I'm like, whose fucking drone is this? And the kid working behind the desk, he's like, oh yeah, I got it. I'm like, that'd be cool if you could program it to just follow you around. He's like, oh yeah, you can. So he literally set it up for me. And I was walking around the gym and the thing just followed me. It would run into like a random machine every now and then. So it's not the most efficient technology, but hopefully no one starts bringing those shit in there.
I think technology is moving a little too fast. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this.
Yeah, y'all thought you had a problem with tripods. Wait till it's a fucking
bro.
Skies of Vietnam above you.
What's up, Brandon?
What up?
What's up, big dog?
What's going on, Dougie? Chris, how you doing? Mike, nice to meet you, buddy.
You as well. How you doing?
Good.
Shit, I was gonna say something, but I'm too high to remember.
You're funny as hell. He's
Andy's back.
I be trying to wait till after because I'll lose track of thought, and I hate when I
Well,
do
that's
that.
the problem. I said I need a pen and pad because I get ideas when people are talking, and I'm like, think about it. But then I'm listening to what people are saying, and then by the time they're done talking, I'm like, fuck.
And
Like,
that happens so much to me. Swear to God, that's funny.
If I smoked and was on this thing, this would be me the entire time.
oh,
Yeah.
I am fucking useless when I smoke.
Dude, Chris, when fucking Justin, it was Justin, Jose, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was. They were on a podcast together. Dude, Justin was so fucking baked, and he's just sitting there like a zombie. He's just sitting at the fucking screen going,
Who is this, Randall?
yeah. Literally did it for an hour straight. Jose's like, bro, are you even gonna talk?
That's crazy.
I usually only like take a hit before I get on here just to like chill me out. But one day, I forget. I know Doug, you were on. Brendan, I think you were on.
Mike had
I think
stage
maybe
fright.
Luke. And I was so high, like I smoked a whole joint, and I was too high. And probably 30 minutes into the podcast, I said nothing for the next hour. And then I just let you guys just go. And then at the end, I pressed end record, and I stood up and I said, I don't know if that was a good podcast. I don't know if we should air that.
I think that was the one where I came on, and you were wearing the beanie, and I'm like, you're fucking high as shit. Dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how people smoke and then go train.
Yeah, I
don't
can't do that.
For some people, it relaxes them. For me,
Yeah, so
I don't even get anything accomplished.
Yeah,
my
I've hung out with
fiance,
Marty a few times, and he likes to. So Marty says it helps him battle the tolerance, like the pain. Like he feels like he can tolerate more pain, like that.
I feel like that makes it worse. I got Graston done one time, and I smoked, and it hurt 10 times more.
You ever try doing shots after you get high? I will not do it. I will not.
I'm not even a drinker.
I will not do my shots if I'm high. I will not do them. I'll wait for the next day.
I am like intramuscular. We talking
yes.
about like spirits.
Yes.
No,
No.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
I don't do that either.
It hurts.
Oh no,
it hurts worse.
No. My fiance Ashlyn, she literally smoke a joint, do a couple of dabs and some bong rips, and then goes and trains.
What?
No way.
That is wild.
I have friends that would smoke before football games. I don't know how they did that. I used to be like, bro, I would forget to play. There's no way I can do that and play football.
He's in fucking Dougie's in the huddle. They call the play. Walks to the line of scrimmage. He's like, wait, time out.
Wait, exactly. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen.
I'm not gonna lie. When I played football, when it was freezing, I'd do like a couple of nips of whiskey before the game.
Yeah, I know some people.
That was great. I felt like Latimer just running through people. It was awesome. From the program, if you guys have seen that movie, that's awesome.
I went to in college once. I drank way more than I should have for being a basketball player. And I remember we stayed up one night and we partied all night. And I went to basketball practice still very, very drunk. And I remember we doing sprints at the beginning, and then we just started doing some drills. And I shit you not, I couldn't even catch the basketball. Like this was basic, like pee-wee basketball stuff that I couldn't dribble. I couldn't catch the ball. I finally had to, I was like, Coach, I don't feel good. Like, I think I'm just gonna go back to the dorm.
Hey, Mike, did you play sports?
Yeah, I did. So I started bodybuilding at like 110 pounds because I was a soccer player and a middle distance runner in high school. I started track in college and then ended up dropping off. But yeah, I was a pretty good soccer player, but not enough to take it anywhere in college. And then for track, I was actually a state champion 800-meter runner and 4x4 runner. Started that in college. Decided I didn't like it anymore. And
then was the two races when the track coach was like, we need somebody to run the 4. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
fucking
I was good
nuts.
at the shit no one wanted to do. It was fucking brutal. Uh, but yeah, I was like 110 pounds soaking wet. I remember I started weight training during high school to literally not get my ass thrown around the varsity field because I was on soccer as a freshman. But like skill wise, I belong there. But like physique wise, dude, I was
Yeah.
getting fucking trashed. Like, the difference when you're in high school, the difference between a 14-year-old and an
Yeah. And an
18-year-old,
18-year-old.
dude,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
like statutory rape. Like you're getting fucked. You're getting fucked all over the field. I'm getting tossed
Oh,
everywhere, and it
shit.
doesn't even matter how good or fast I am because like you're getting clipped at least a couple times a game, and that shit gets real old. So I
I can
started
relate because
training.
when I played football and a lot of my other sports, basketball and baseball, I was only 120 pounds, and I was 17 years old when I was 120.
That's crazy.
I was fast as hell and I could hit hard and stuff. I liked that. But yeah, no, I was
I was
tiny.
190 pounds in high school. I played fullback.
Oh,
Short.
jeez.
I was always short and stocky. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny when I got into bodybuilding. I remember when I went to go meet this guy when I decided to get a coach. I remember when I met him, I posed for him, and he was like, "How much you weigh?" I said I was 215. So he asked, sort of God, true story. He said, "So what you running?" I'm like, "What you mean?" He said, "What kind of gear you running?" I'm like, "What the fuck is gear?" I had no fucking clue what he was talking about. So he's like, he gave me that look like, "You don't know what I'm talking about?" He's like, "So what kind of gear are you running?" I'm like, "I don't know what that is, bro. What are you talking about?" He was like, "Steroids." I was like, "Oh, I ain't running nothing. That's why I came to you." He goes, "You gotta be fucking shitting me." I'm like, "Nah, bro." He said, "You're 215 natural." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I don't, you know what I mean? I want to learn. I need a coach. I need somebody to teach me the ropes because I know what's going on and I want to even the playing field." You know what I'm saying? I did 2 shows natural and I was placing higher than guys that was running gear. So I was like, I want to see what I can do if I take it serious. And then I got a coach. You know what I mean? And that was when I learned that I was doing things that I was doing it the way that I should have been. I had built my frame. I trained for 7 years nonstop. So it was like a match made in heaven. But unfortunately, I ended up having to leave that coach because I texted him one day. I was having some complications and I needed a response. And it took him 3 days to hit me back. By that time, I was already on to the
3
next one.
days.
Yeah, and I
God,
texted him emergency. Like I needed a response. So I'll be transparent. I wasn't running an AI, which I didn't know because he didn't tell me. So I had developed a water pocket underneath my chest, and I remember taking my shirt off
shit.
in the locker room, and I noticed that I had some bulge underneath my chest, scared the fuck out of me. So I called him, I texted him, I didn't get no response. Now I ended up a friend of mine ended up recommending me to somebody else that helped me get an AI and explained to me why that happened and why I needed an AI. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I can't fuck with dude if he can't even respond back after I didn't text you emergency." You know what I'm saying? Like I need to know something, and I'm new to everything, so I was already scared to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear all of the horror stories, you hear all of the bad things, and me being new, I started to fucking panic. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm glad that I'm with my coach now because my coach really cares about his athletes. You know what I'm
Who are you with?
saying? His name's Morgan Rice.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of Morgan.
Hmm.
That's funny, man, because like, there's just like six, or 4 or 5 of us in a room right now, and two drastically different paths to being like just being good bodybuilders.
Hmm.
That's why like I get because I get some high school kids or some younger 20s or even people that are just new to bodybuilding, even if they're a little bit older, and it's like, hey man, do you think I have what it takes? And I'm like, bro, like give it. I'm serious. You need 5 or 6 fucking years for I can tell you if
Hmm.
you have any business doing this.
Hmm.
And if you're chasing this only to know, like if you're only gonna chase this, if you know you're gonna be good at it, you're not in this for the right reasons.
Yep.
Um, there's so
Glad you
much of
said
that
that.
shit, man. And if you're in it, back to the conversation we were having earlier about the young kids that are going in groups, and it's all about the content and the angles and the video. if you got started in this because of social media and because you saw the attention influencers were getting and you saw the cool physiques, like that's fine if you started there. But if you don't get to the point where you're chasing this because you see what the journey is going to mean to you, then you're doing this shit wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot more value in the discipline you learn, being able to juggle multiple things at the same time, like all of that shit it's just so much more valuable than a pro card. And even if you get the pro card, like let's be real, the whole reason we're having this conversation in the IFBB about pro cards and paying every 3 years is because there's like thousands of people that earned a pro card that'll never compete as a pro because they don't have what it takes to go to the next level. So what is that pro card worth once you get it? If that's all you're chasing, what's next? What is that?
That's a fact. Because most people, when they turn pro and they do a pro show, like myself, you realize, holy shit,
Starting over.
this shit. I mean, and for me, you know, like I was fortunate enough to make it to the Olympia. I still don't fucking believe I did that shit, but I got the pictures to prove it. But listen, let me tell you, I will never forget that experience as long as I live, being backstage and seeing the elites in person.
He'll be there again.
Videos and pictures do no justice, right? Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. You know how a lot of people, they saw the Sam Sulek kid compete, and I seen a lot of people that was critiquing his physique. Somebody was saying he didn't peak or something like that, and I'm like,
it's his first fucking show. You go back to anyone on this podcast right now, and you look at our first show, we were fucking train wrecks. That dude
Sam looked 10, 20 times better than I ever did in my first show.
First show, you fix some minor fucking like tweak in his posing.
Yeah.
Maybe coming a tad and a tad drier and a little fuller. Other than that, dude had striations in his fucking back.
And that's my point. Is a lot of when you see Hottie on TV, it's not the same in person.
No, it's not.
When you see Derek on TV, it's not the same in person. I don't give a fuck what nobody tell you.
Nope.
Them fucking dudes look, the videos and the just doesn't do them no justice. You know what I'm saying?
Got posted today. There was a picture today of Derek next to Ramon. And everyone was like, wow, Ramon looks good there next to Derek. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's a fucking picture. If you've ever seen somebody like Derek, 5.5 feet tall, 270, the shit is different, man. Like, if you've seen fucking Kai Green in person, that shit doesn't even make sense. Like, the dimensions don't make sense. If you've seen if you've seen Stu Sutherland in person,
oh, Stu is so
fucking ridiculous.
Let me tell you something. I love Stu. And when you see him in pictures, like he looks really good. You do not understand how big that human being is until you're standing next to him. Funny story. So he came out for my birthday dinner after nationals because I turned 40 on December 11th, and one of the waitresses was taking a picture of all of us outside, and we're like, oh, we're just waiting for Stu. And Stu walks out, and when that girl turned around and saw him, she jumped back and she's like, "Oh my God, you're freaking huge!" Like he is just a massive human being.
I was in Arizona for work and trained at the gym that Stu was training in when he lived there. And I have to find the video. I'm sure it's still somewhere, but I'm taking a video of one of my sets, and Stu walks in the gym, and the camera caught me like turning around and seeing him walk by me. And dude, the face I was making was fucking priceless. And I truly don't think people truly don't get it. Like you guys see these influencers. That's the opposite of this is true, right? Like you see a lot of these influencers that look good on Instagram, but they're by them fucking selves on Instagram. You see those guys in person, dude. If I put a T-shirt on you, no one would even know who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I think another thing about getting to that pro level, like we were talking about too, is like not only does everything change, some guys have to completely redline even to get to the pros.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And once you're there, you have nothing else to give.
Mm-hmm.
Like
100%.
That's a lot of the pro cards that we see that like guys give everything in the tank for 10, 12, 15 years. And once you get there, that's the pinnacle. That's the peak that body can go.
That's
So not
probably,
only is
that's
everybody
probably
fucking
gonna be me.
Man, look, let me tell you what. Me being 41, I'd look at it like I like so now I want to travel. I want to travel and compete, experience different countries, cultures, you know what I'm saying? And just have fun. You know what I'm saying? Like I train to win and I want to win, but realistically, I know I ain't gonna be doing this too much longer. So I'm enjoying myself and I'm already making that transition into coaching more because I do like helping people. Especially when it comes to posing. I hate when I go to bodybuilding shows and I see guys with phenomenal physiques and they can't fucking pose. The shit
Yep.
drives me nuts. It's like you do all of this training in the gym, you're eating this food, like you did everything right, but your posing fucking sucks. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you get to that elite level that you can't suck at posing. Like you
Nope.
just can't. You have to develop that skill to be able to control your breathing, create separation in your legs, hold your poses, be able to pose more than one round. Oh my god, I remember the first time I had a serious pose down. My ribs hurt from hitting vacuums and squeezing my abs and shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, if you guys saw any of the Florida show coverage, dude, those judges ran me and Cody drove it for like I think it was almost 12 minutes, and I was like, bro, what the fuck is this?
Yep. Yep.
And dude, for over 10 minutes, it doesn't even matter how much you
Yep.
practice. Like we were both like, oh man, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm fucking done. And the
Yep.
thing about posing is like, yeah, can you control your condition to some degree? Yeah. Can you control the amount of muscle you put on? Like, sure. But there's so many factors that go into how lean you can get, how dry you get, how well peaked you are, how much muscle you put on last off season for this show. All that has so many intricacies. Like, yeah, you need to control that to be a good bodybuilder. But the single thing you can control from start to finish 100% is how well you present yourself. Because there's literally nothing holding you back from spending 10 minutes once or twice a day practicing that shit in the mirror.
Yep.
None.
Shit, I wake up in the morning and I walk out in my living room naked where we have a mirror and I hit poses right off the bat.
There's an image. Thanks, bud.
How am I looking today? You're just over there like, okay. Yeah.
Is that how Jacoby's getting his check-in photos now?
Yeah. Yep, just put the eggplant emoji over my junk.
You're funny as hell. Oh.
No,
Hey,
actually, I have shitty lighting here in the morning. So I literally drive to my gym and go into the posing room and do my check-in photos there.
I was
Which
doing
is
the same.
fine because it's every 2 weeks now. But like towards the end of prep, I was driving there every morning. I mean, I was already doing cardio anyway, so it's not like a big deal. But oh yeah,
I feel like I need to invest in one of those black curtain things that everybody has for.
Man, Amazon, like
Yeah.
that's why I got mine. I'm gonna buy I think 2 more, so I'm gonna make kind of like a 3-sided square and one side's open, just because the one place that it's decent lighting is in my garage, but in the morning if it's sunny out, all the light comes through the garage and it just creates glare, so it's just shit photos. So I think I'm gonna buy 2 more of those backdrop things and just make like a little cube.
And it's such a minimal investment too. I think, a ring light with a tripod and then the rod to hold 3 rods to hold a curtain up, or even fucking tack that shit to your wall. That's such a small investment. And if you're gonna do online coaching with somebody, it's the fucking least you can do, man. Because the number of times I get shitty photos, and not that it's not to like blame them, but like if you give me shitty photos, how good do you expect my feedback and adjustments to be?
Facts. No,
Right?
you
Like,
being honest. That's real shit. I'm glad you said it because I always tell people I can't help you if you don't help me help you.
If you're going to use natural light, because I love natural light, and where I'm at in
Yes.
Florida now, my front door is fucking perfect. It's perfect every single time I take photos. But most people don't have that. And if you send me 2 sets of photos a couple weeks apart, one in like really, really diffused light through an overcast sky, and one with like direct sunlight coming over the horizon, like those are 2 totally different physiques.
Yep.
I can't do shit with that.
Yep.
For sure.
I was straight up just emailed back clients, redo these pictures in different lighting, please. because I have like a form, I have a check-in form. It says
Right.
how to take check-in pictures. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
tripod setup, waist level, yada, 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 with the whole thing.
I'm
And that's-
a huge violator of this, a huge hypocrite. I have the same, and obviously Jacoby has one too. One of the things I always say is like, I can tell how you're going to be as a client by how you answer that form the first few times. Or like if you can't fill out the questionnaire that I send you when you're going to come on as a client, and I have to ask you additional questions, or if you send that first check-in and the photos aren't how they're supposed to be, there aren't questions answered, you're not giving me detail, I already know how this is going to go.
Yep.
And the reality is, yeah, you're paying me to help you, but this isn't a one-way street. It isn't like you put a quarter in the machine and then you get your game. Like that's not how it works. And I don't know where that expectation came from, but this is still and always will be what you're going to get out is exactly what you put in. And your coaches are still human. Your coaches still get pissed off. I don't care how good of a coach you are. If you keep receiving shit from a client, eventually that client's going to get less attention from you. It's just the way it fucking goes.
100%.
Oh yeah, they just give you one-word answers.
That's what I was just gonna say.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
the one thing I've noticed though is like you'll have clients that answer everything very detailed. Then like you'll have 2 weeks in a row where everything's very short. Then it's like, hey, do you have time for a phone call? Hey, I've noticed that you're in, this thing, everything okay. And usually at that point, there's always something going on in their lives,
Yep.
Which is fine, right? Like we talked about, that shit happens, and if you're going to be good at this, you got to learn how to roll with those punches. But if you're not honest and open with your coach, they can't deal with that. Like whether it was you ate 6 cheeseburgers last night when you're in the middle of prep, or if it was like your grandmother died and you haven't eaten because like you're depressed, like it doesn't matter what the actual problem is. What matters is what happens to your physique and my ability to help you.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's this because we're like as coaches kind of in this position of authority, but like this is a symbiotic relationship. Like we're not.
Yep.
This isn't like me teaching you. I'm not going to smack you in the knuckles, but if you're not honest with me, then you're not going to get shit from me.
That's funny because I tell my clients I'm not a drill sergeant because it's some of them kind of give you that impression like they're scared to tell you something. And
Right.
it's better you tell me than not. You know what I'm saying? Because for one, if you don't tell me, I know you did something off.
Right.
Whether you tell me or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's better you just tell me instead of just lying about it.
I tell all my clients or like potential clients that I view coaching as a collaboration between me and the client. And whenever I say that, I feel like it really kind of gets the gears moving upstairs, and it's one of those things where I try to empower all my clients to be very communicative with me. You need to have a solid line of communication. I mean, I have some clients that'll just, they'll be like, oh, I rolled my ankle today. And it's like, I iced my foot. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to know that. But, I still appreciate them letting me know that something.
Most of us think that we're doctors.
Well,
I'm like,
and also like on the other end, some clients just overshare. Like sometimes, I get an email that's paragraphs and paragraphs. It's like, okay, like, bro, yes, some of this is important, but you need to learn how to like break it down to what is important. And I don't need to know that like your dog is going to the vet on Wednesday at 9 a.m. So it'll be tough to do fasted cardio. Like that's the stuff I don't care about. Like,
my coach helped me kill that from the door in my email format that I send them, because you do have to tell people that. You know what I'm saying? Like my favorite clients are the ones like myself. Like I never text my coach to ask him shit. I don't ask for we could bring him on, he'll tell. I've never asked for a free meal, a cheat meal. I've never asked him to change any fucking thing. If he don't change some shit, I keep doing what the fuck I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Because he's always on top of shit anyway. But sometimes you get people, like you said, they'll tell you some shit that don't even fucking matter. And and it's like, I get it. You're trying to tell me what went on in your day, but I really don't give a fuck. And I don't mean that in negative way. I just mean that my job is to help you. So, you telling me you slipped and fell and you sprained your ankle today and now you can't train for the 3 days. Okay, cool. But there's other things that, you just don't got to say. You know what I mean?
Or another thing too is when, the clients, they view you more as a friend than as opposed to a coach. And it's like, oh, I thought we were friends. You mad at me? And I'm like, bro, you haven't sent me check-ins in 3 fucking weeks. How do you want me to be your friend? You're not even fucking communicating.
Yeah, the progressing to a friendship with your coach in most instances is like a rare privilege.
Mhm.
And I think it only happens in this world unless you're like directly like in person with that individual frequently, or if they just respect the fuck out of you because you nail it every single time. Like we're all
Yep.
doing the same shit.
Yep.
I don't care how good of a person, like obviously, fuck, we sound like assholes right now. How good of a person you are, right, does not factor into how good of an athlete you are with me.
Yes.
Right? You can be the best person on the fucking planet. If you can't do what I ask you to do, you can't provide your feedback, you can't follow a plan, our relationship's gonna fucking suck.
Facts.
And if you're expecting to be friends with me, like it's not going to be because we're coach and athlete because you're not providing anything for me. This is exclusively a one-way street now. I'm not going to be your friend.
Yep.
But if you want that to happen, man, just do the fucking work. And it still might not happen, right? You still might not be friends with your coach.
Yep.
But a lot of the times, man, I feel like that's for being able to kind of scoot by with shit. Like you said, like, hey, man, can I have a free meal? Like, you're not getting more out of me because we're more friendly. Like that's not my job. I'm not bending, my commitment to you because we happen to be
cool
closer than other clients, right?
That's why I'll never coach anyone who has friends. Like if you're close to them or like on a friendship level, like before you, like, hey, I want to work with you. No, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And only because like they're at that point where they'll try to take advantage of the situation. Oh, I've known you for years. Come on, man, give me a free meal. Oh, this, that. No. You're a deep shit. You're a deep shit if you have a client that you're just starting with and they're like, so what do we do about cheat meals?
I have never once asked any coach ever for a free meal.
Nope.
Yeah,
Not once.
Yep.
I asked there was one time I asked Jacoby, I was like, hey, I loved eating oatmeal every morning for breakfast. And then there was just one day I woke up and I put the oatmeal in my mouth and I could not eat it. I just threw it up. It was a textural change. I haven't eaten oatmeal since then. And I was like, hey, I think this is like an autism thing with the texture. I'm like, we switch this for cream or ice. He goes, that's fine. That was the one time I've ever asked for any.
Yeah, but see, something like that, that's like,
fun.
Yeah, stuff like that's cool. I hate when people ask me, I've had clients say, hey man, what's my macros? Why? You can do it yourself if you want to know. But I know why you're asking me. You're asking me because you want to start doing your own shit. You might as well just do it on your fucking own anyway. Because you get some people who are like that. Like I know this one dude who would rotate his oats with a muffin. And it's like, bruh, like it fits my macros, and I'm like, all right, I wasn't coaching him or nothing, so I'm like, all right, if that's the fuck you want to do, whatever. But it's not the same fucking thing. Straight up, I don't get it.
That's when they just don't understand. I mean, calories are calories, and it's just like, no, not all foods are created equal.
No, it doesn't work that way. And like most of the time when you start getting those questions, not to like substitute foods, because like I like to be as flexible with guys as I can.
Yes.
Like do I care if you eat oatmeal or cream of rice? Like no.
No. Facts.
But most of the time when you get those questions, at least for the younger, less experienced guys, and it's not even exclusive to that, because I think if we're, little diatribe here, like I think bodybuilding as a whole, like athletes, we are probably the least mentally stable group of professional athletes on the fucking planet.
Facts.
Almost every single time you start getting those questions, it's because someone got in their ear of like, oh man, you look, you're looking a little soft. What are your macros at? It's like, and a lot of those times it's another fucking coach in their DMs. Like, hey man, I could be doing better with you. What do you think about this? You should ask, trying to plant that seed. And it's like, I come back to this quote all the fucking time. I think I said it like twice yesterday on Instagram, but I don't know any other better quote for like what makes somebody good at bodybuilding. It's executing a decent plan violently will always be more effective than executing a perfect plan timidly. And it, not to say that anyone's coach is not putting together a great plan. Jacoby is, in my opinion, one of the best coaches on the planet. So when I talk about this, it's not me saying that his plans are average and that I just execute harder than anybody on, on the planet. But like, you can hire most any coach, and so long as it isn't dangerous or unhealthy, if you do that shit to the T, day in, day out, 100%, I'm willing to bet that your results are going to be better than most anybody you're going to stand next to. And this comes back to the Sam Sulek conversation. Sam was eating fucking bologna sandwiches and chocolate milk, right? That's like 18-year-old trying to bulk up for the summer stuff. Still fucking worked. You know why? Because he did that shit every single day. He stepped it up, he stepped it down, and most importantly, when he got in the gym, the dude just trained his ass off, and that was it. And what was the result? Everyone's like, "Oh, I just want to know what a cycle is. He must be on a ton of drugs." Like you guys can't even fathom. You cannot fathom that somebody is just working harder than you.
Yep. I'm glad you said that. You say things that I think, and I don't know how to fucking get it out my fucking mouth. I swear to God. Swear to God.
That's good. We're doing a lot of circling back here.
Oh yeah.
I also can't stand when people come up to you in the gym that you've never talked to before, and they're just like, "Oh, what cycle you running? You're huge." And it's like, I'm not talking to you. You don't have the mind for it. If they were like, "Hey, how long have you been training for? What's your diet like?" Then I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Bro, you used to have to earn drug knowledge, right? You used to have to earn that shit. Guys wouldn't even fucking talk to you if you were under 200 pounds about drugs. And now every fucking 20-year-old thinks you just got to blast 2 grams to be a pro bodybuilder. And then they think that the first time they use a fucking needle that they know how to tell somebody else how to do it. And it's, fuck, man. Yeah. I feel like an old guy yelling at the sky right now, but like,
no, you're right, because a lot of young people don't understand that if you take the drugs and you never had the work ethic, you're fucked. You know, like I tell people, it's my opinion. I think that people, if you want to compete in bodybuilding and you haven't ran a cycle, I think you should do it once or twice naturally and see if you like doing that. Yeah. Because if you start running gear and you start doing that and you don't like that shit, you had no business trying it.
I think it's good just building a strong natural base in general. I mean,
I think I put on 50 or 60 pounds before I even thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I went in
I started at 110, but
hit the plateau.
Yeah, dude. In 10 years, I went from 120 pounds to 212 or 215. I mean, it wasn't the prettiest, but that was naturally. And I didn't take anything until I was 28, 29 years old. So, like, I know, like, even when I'm just on TRT or if I stop taking stuff, like, it's not like anything goes away.
Yeah. I also think it's crazy just to come up and ask somebody, "What do you run?"
Yeah.
Like, that is just, to me, like, that's going up to somebody being like, "What's your yearly salary? How's you and your wife's sex life?" Like, it's the same thing. Like,
dude, I had a DM today because of I put up the post last night, like the story post last night after I worked out. I get a DM from somebody I used to coach. "Oh, what are you running for gear?" I'm like, dude, really? It's not about just the fucking gear. Like, dude, I'm getting my sleep in. I'm making sure I eat all my fucking food. Like, I put like literally bust my ass in the fucking gym. I just started a cycle literally a week ago. Sorry, but it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that fucking quick. It takes way more time than that.
Yeah, I don't answer your questions.
Full blast, get you in there. It takes 2 to 3 weeks. Like, give me a break, dude. You're going right people ask right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't even answer those questions. One, because I feel like I have an obligation and a duty to younger people who will hurt themselves. You know what I mean? So I don't ever put that out there. You know, I remember these kids was talking about Big Ramy cycle. And I'm like, yo, he's 300 fucking pounds.
Yeah, what
You're
business do you have?
50 smoking, soaking wet, bro. Like, you don't even need to even be thinking about anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing Ramy, Kai, or any of these guys are doing that you should worry about until you're within 40 or 50 pounds of stage weight with a pro card,
Facts.
and you're going to step on stage with them. Nothing.
Facts.
To be fair, there's nothing you should even worry about. I'm just a 212 guy. I weigh barely 225 right now. There's nothing I'm doing that you should worry about other than seeing how intensely I train and how meticulously I eat. And that's it.
I used to love the word transparent. Now I fucking hate it.
Oh my God.
Whenever you go to a comment section and somebody's been pressured into talking about their cycle, they're like, well, at least he's transparent. At least he's like, bro, it's not a transparency. It's not that you don't know we're on gear. Like, I don't get it.
All that information does is make you know just enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's it. There's nothing behind that knowledge that does anything for you personally, because you're not where I'm at.
Yeah. It's like, if you're that ignorant to not know that we are on enhancements, then I don't even care to have a conversation with you.
And
you know what I mean? It's like, because at this point, it's like, I can't remember, maybe we were talking about it, but when you're natty, you don't have to tell people that. Like, we know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to like brag about it. And I'm not throwing a shot at natural people. You understand? Like, I'm not. But it's kind of like, you're saying it as if we don't know or people don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, and for me, right, being on enhancements, that's why when people say certain things to me, I say, thank you. Thank you. I look like a bodybuilder. Thank you. I should. I better. Motherfucker, you understand? What the fuck am I doing if I don't? You know what I'm saying?
Here's the other thing too. Like, just because you're on certain compounds doesn't mean those compounds will work for other people. So why the fuck are you asking me what my cycle is?
Yeah.
Because those compounds might never even work to begin with. So the conversation of this, it shouldn't even be happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a fact.
They're all just tools.
Well, and then we've arrived at a point now where if you don't answer it, you're hiding something, and we've gone so far down this like safe use model road where it's all about harm mitigation, risk reduction, which is great. Like, we should absolutely be doing that. We should absolutely be having conversations about what's safe and what's not, how to reduce the risks, because we know this is all risky. Mm-hmm. But we've gone so far down this road that anytime you're honest with somebody, now you're lying. Right? And this whole thing has come off, like the whole harm reduction thing has come off as so pretentious and elitist now, because there's so much information out there and most of it's bullshit. Like, if a kid who wants to be you sees you saying you're on X, and he sees someone who looks worse than you saying they're on Y, and Y is more than X, they automatically think you're on more than Y, right? Yeah. That conversation is losing from the fucking start. There's no win in it.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what else? Sometimes people take X, Y, and Z and don't know what the fuck is going on with their body. They don't know what's responding to what, because they just doing stupid shit and not working with somebody, or at least learning about what the fuck you're taking.
They're just throwing the kitchen sinks at themselves, and they don't
like, oh, you take this and that, I'm gonna try that, and it's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, don't do that. Like, do not do that.
I'm on one of the forums still, and there's always posts like, I'm on A, B, C, and D, and my dick doesn't work. I hate my girlfriend. I want to fuck my best friend. Like, I'm crying at work. Like, dude, I don't start over. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, like, pretty much, bro. You fucked yourself, and you got to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you get for trying to asking what somebody else is on and doing what somebody else is fucking on.
There was this guy that used to train at this gym, and then Tim Reed knows this guy too. So we don't even know his real name, but he'd come in at one point and look really kind of small, and then all of a sudden, like, 6 weeks later, he looked like he gained like 40 pounds, which is bloated as fuck. So Tim and I used to call him Cheat Curl McD-Ball, because he'd always just be doing these heavy barbell curls, and he'd just be slinging the weight around. And then one day he came up to me and he's like, "What do you run?" He's like, "I run like 150 milligrams of D-ball for like 4 weeks at a time. Then I come off." And I was just like, "Oh my God, we were right. Curl McD-Ball," and he really was on only fucking D-ball.
That's crazy.
He was just like some dad. Like he never competed.
Well, that's the other part of this, man. It's like, can you do that? Like, I guess, yeah. And I mean, we've all, most of us are old enough that you've been through the high school and the college, and like the oral only stuff was big because it's all you could really get away with. And for a while, it's like all you could get unless you had someone that knew somebody. But if you can't commit to the pin, like you have no business with this shit. Absolutely none. And there's no way around that. It's like all these people trying to find all these alternatives like creams and pinning intramuscularly and taking only pills. Like, yeah, cool, but like you're gonna get half the results, all the side effects or more, and then we'll be back at square one in like 2 weeks. So
you know what's even crazier too is people will start to they'll get like vials of whatever and they'll just start pinning themselves, but they don't even know anything about the compounds that they're taking or how to do a proper injection. I had a kid one time, like a few years ago, that was like, hey, my whole arm swelled up. I got a picture in my DM, just a whole swollen arm. I'm like, what the hell did you do? And he's like, oh, I wanted to make sure everything was clean. So he literally took an alcohol swab and swabbed the needle. And then he did it, and his whole arm just swelled up and was red. I'm just like, did anyone help you with this? He's like, no, I just took it and did it. And I'm like, oh my God. Those are the people that have no business taking that stuff.
Hold up, though. Wait,
I feel like it's Pulp Fiction all over again.
Hold up, though. Are you not supposed to swab the needle? Maybe I shouldn't be. Are you not supposed to swab the needle?
I swabbed the needle.
You clean the needle. They're already sterile.
What? I still.
Oh my God.
We got called out, Mike. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Well, this became uncomfortable. Shit.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no.
Mike said it before I could.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't swap the needle. Yeah.
No, they're already sterile. I mean, my whole thing is like, if you're gonna get a shot in like you go to donate blood or whatever, like do they swab the needle before they stick it in?
I guess they don't, Chris. I guess they don't.
At least Mike has an excuse. He's high. I got no excuse.
Oh my, yeah.
No, let me tell you this. I had a guy was training for posing, and he put on his posing trunks, and he had a fucking knot of a golf ball on his ass. So I said, yo, my man. I said, is that where you pin? He goes, yeah. I'm like, please tell me that's not the only place you pin it. He says, yeah. I said, stop.
Just
Stop, bro. Like, you're only pinning in one fucking spot. Every fucking time you pin, bro. What did they call it? Hematoma? Whatever the fuck that was?
abscess.
Abscess, yeah.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
Give me 2 minutes.
Like, I'm like, yo, do you not know how to ask questions, bro?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
they got like a staph infection or cellulitis in there or something. Jesus.
Well, I just had to let them know, like, if you get on stage with that, you will never win. I don't give a fuck what your body look like. They gonna see that shit poking out your trunks, and you're not winning nothing, bro.
Mike, you've never had a flare up doing that, have you?
No.
Me neither.
Never.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Everyone I've ever talked to that has done that it's always gotten inflamed.
Never.
So
the only time
the
only time that's ever happened to me is because I over injected in one area and then it blew up.
The only time it's happened to me is if like the carrier oil is something like I don't do well with MCT oil. So if it's MCT oil based, I'll swell some, but I've never gotten it from the needle. So I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna do it tonight. But the OCD in me is not gonna.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be, the OCD, because it's not really gonna be a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the needles are definitely sterile, but I mean, I've never known anybody to have a reaction from sterilizing the needle, but I'm sure everybody's different. You know what I'm saying?
So I
We're
sterilize
amateurs, I guess, Mike.
I sterilize it, and then I push a little bit of oil up through to re-lubricate it.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah. So I'm not.
Maybe the person that sent me this was like reusing the same needle.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Who knows? He wasn't the
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the only thing I can think of. He probably used the same needle for a couple of compounds and then put it all in one area, and that probably is why he swelled up.
I saw a dude one time. He actually passed away, but I saw this kid one time. He ran out of 23 or 25 gauges. He literally dropped this. He literally dropped the syringe on the floor, and then picked it up. And then it was an 18 gauge, and just used an 18 gauge to do the injection. I was like, oh my god,
that's hardcore, man.
I know I've said this before, but when I first started, my first probably 3 months of injections, I learned from an older guy at my gym, but he never told me that you can switch out your draw needle for a smaller needle. Yeah. So I did about 3 months of an 18 gauge in my fucking ass cheeks.
Fuck.
Yeah, bro.
That forever.
Terrible. I was like, I'm not gonna do this. This like sport isn't for me. I don't know how guys do this. This is the worst shit ever.
Hey man, we all have our the beginning. What are they called? The beginning woes or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When you first start, I had to have my homie pin me because I was too scared to pin myself. I was sweating and shit. My underarms was fucking wet as hell. I was scared as fuck. And then it was funny as hell because when he did it, I didn't even know he did it. I'm like, oh shit, that's it. He was like, that's it. I'm like, oh, this is nothing. I'm like, fuck was I tripping for?
I was more nervous taking creatine for the first time when I was 17 years old. I was like, there's no turning back now. Thinking it was like this hardcore shit.
Not to switch subjects real quick, but Mike, when did you turn pro and where at?
2021 Nationals in the light heavyweight class. So that was with Carlos, Carlos, Shire, Jacoby, Jordan Wise.
Yes. I remember.
What class did Jacoby turn pro in?
Middleweight. So me and him almost competed against each other, and him and Matt decided to drop him into middleweight because they saw what light heavyweight class was shaping up into, and he dropped like from I think it was like mid 180s to 176 and won that class like hands down. So great decision, but yeah, middleweight.
What's your Instagram, Mike, so I can make sure I'm following you?
Yeah, just my name, Mike Condell. Last name Condell. I know I didn't put it on the screen tonight, but just my name.
Yeah, no, hell no. I remember you fucking tank.
It's funny, man. Like if you've done a couple national shows, you've probably gone through the same progression I went through. It's like your first one, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do great. And then you get your fucking ass, like you get your shit pushed in, and then like you come back the next time, you're like, nah, this is definitely the time. You're cocky as fuck. I'm gonna win this, and you get your shit pushed in again. And then 2021, dude, I had no expectations. Like I was in there we're just gonna go compete and see how it goes. And I finished prejudging in the middle and like almost couldn't believe what was going on.
Yeah.
And it's really funny how like everyone thinks you go pro and like life changes.
Fact.
And like, so I got off stage and it was crazy because I had like 300 fucking comments and a bunch of likes. I'm like, this is awesome. And then, dude, as soon as that shit's over, no one even knows your fucking name. Like, so like, all you guys out there listening, like, yeah, being a pro is really cool. It's like the pinnacle achievement of half of bodybuilding, right? Just to go pro. That doesn't change a goddamn thing. Nope. So don't depend on that being some life-changing event for you. You're not going to suddenly be famous. You're not going to suddenly be an influencer. You're not going to suddenly have sponsorships. Like,
you still got a whole nother ladder to climb.
Yep.
And you know what I've noticed since I've been a pro? I like, as far as like the elite guys, like you got to earn their respect. You know what I'm saying? Like some guys ain't going to just be cool with you because you're a pro. You know what I'm saying? Because of how serious a lot of people take it. And I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I respect everybody. As long as you ain't a douche or a dick. You know what I'm saying? Because I get that. I respect the sport that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like just because you're a pro, right, doesn't mean you get to ask somebody who's competing in the Olympia to train together.
Facts.
Like you don't get to do that. It's the same thing as like random people, random gym goers or random amateurs asking pros to train together. Dude, if I don't know you, you have no fucking business. That 2 hours in the gym, that's my time. Bruh. And not only is it my time, like that's a job right now. Like that's part of my job. I leave my job and then I go to another job, and I'm not in the gym to like fuck around and be buddy. I'm a good, I try to be nice in the gym, but you don't get to do that. And like,
No.
there's levels to this, and
Yes.
all the other conversations we had tonight, you used to have to earn that, but it's become so accessible that everyone thinks like they can
Yep.
demand your time, demand
Yep.
your attention, and there's no way around it other than like getting your ass burned once in a while when someone says no, you can't.
I made a post about that because people will literally be like, yo, bro, I'm trying to train with you. And I'm like, dog, you can't train with me, bro. Like
No.
after my warm-up sets, you'll be fucking done. And I train with my coach. He don't even like people. So there's no way you can come and train with me and him because he's gonna be trying to kill me because I brought you.
Not
So
only can
no.
you not keep up, like right, not only do I know that you can't keep up because you're not where I'm at in this journey, but you're also now impeding on my time. Like when I have to worry about unracking and re-racking your weights for my weights and
Facts.
spotting you and worrying about you doing something right, it takes away from the attention I could
Yep.
have to put in to my reps and sets, dude. If you're pushing 5 or 6 plates on a machine, like one distraction is all it takes to like pop a pec, tear a
Yep.
bicep, like blow your knee out, injure your back. And like, I don't have time for that shit. Like, I cannot absorb that. Not only can I not absorb that bodybuilding wise, but dude, I can't I can't call into work tomorrow and say I'm out for the week because I can't sit in my office chair, right?
Yep.
Like, I have shit to do. If you're at my level, I don't tell anyone who's at my level that they can't train with me. But if you're gonna come
Yep.
train with me, it's gonna be my way.
Yep.
And unless we're like neck
Yep.
and neck, and I know you, and I've spent time with you, and I know how you are, it's probably a no because
Yep.
I don't have the time for having to learn
Likewise.
who you are in the
Likewise.
gym.
My fellow pros, you train hard, we can train, but just my homie that we've been cool for the past 10 years and you really don't work out and you just want to come and train with me, like, nah, bro, like, you can't do that.
You guys want to change any Arnold picks? Anybody wants to put
Ooh.
any of their picks?
Dude, the one thing that scares me is that not one fucking photo or video has been revealed of Andrew Jacked, which makes me wonder what the fuck this dude's
Who
gonna look
didn't
like.
somebody pull out though?
De La Rosa did, I think.
Yeah, John's
Yeah.
out.
De La Rosa.
So I got to switch because I had John in fifth, so I got to switch him out.
Do you
Mike,
think if Andrew comes in better than he came in Texas, that he could go toe to toe with Samson?
I don't think Samson's beatable right now.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like, yeah, I was thinking
Dude,
maybe get Derek, but
after seeing what fucking Samson's like, he was doing that arm workout the other day, and like how grainy and dry he is, I'm like, fuck, dude, they're in trouble.
And it's unfortunate because I don't think, and this is not me doubting him at all. I don't know him personally whatsoever. It's from my point of view, unfortunate that he's reaching this only at the age he is now. Because man, if it was like 5 years ago, Samson would run this for shit for a decade.
yeah,
Like he's approaching Ronnie type muscle, which, and in my opinion, on a better frame with a more pleasing look, it is getting
I agree.
absolutely silly what he looks like. And obviously, we haven't seen him for a bit now. There's always some change from Instagram to the stage, but he's only been getting better. And I don't think, for a while there, the short guys are running shit. Samson's gonna have this as long as he can keep doing it.
yeah. I feel the same way, especially if he improves his conditioning. It's lights out. It's fucking lights out. He's a mass monster with an aesthetic look, which is crazy to even say. When you look at, like you say, Ronnie didn't have a V taper like Samson.
No, he didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't. Ronnie was he is the GOAT. But
I can't wait to see this shit in person next weekend.
yeah.
Chris, I either lost your picks or you didn't. I don't know if you made them.
I don't think Chris made his picks.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris didn't.
All right, Chris.
I'm just gonna change. I'm gonna change things up since everyone has Samson winning. I'm gonna say I'm actually just gonna throw Derek in there, even though I don't think he's gonna win. I'm just for the sake of the picks, just to be a little different. I'm gonna put Derek first, Samson second. I'm gonna put Andrew Jack third. I'm gonna put Carlos in fifth.
Whoa.
Fifth.
maybe, and then and who else is competing?
Akeem, James Hollingshead, Sean Clarita, Brandon Curry,
William Bonac.
William Bonac.
Oh man, that one's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Patrick Moore or Rodriguez doing anything. I feel like they're good bodybuilders, but
I have them 9th and 10th.
yeah.
Are we doing the top 10 or are we doing
Well,
top
no,
5?
I think
5.
Top 5.
I just got. I have the list in front of me. That's why I said I put numbers next to everybody. I have them last.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I'm gonna put. I want to put. Shit. You have the list that you can bring up.
Yes,
It's on the screen.
I don't see any. Oh wait, hold on. There it is. I am retarded.
I'm like, it's been up there for like 3 minutes.
Yeah. I'm gonna put Akeem 4th.
Right. And Mike, who's your top 5?
Top 5. Top 5, I think, is pretty solid. Like after top 5, man, my shit is. I keep going back and forth. But if I'm ranking top 5, it's Samson, Derek, Andrew, Sean, and Bonac.
Derek, Andrew, Sean, Bonac.
And then 6 through 10, I got Carlos, Akeem, James, Patrick, Justin.
Where's Brandon?
Oh, and Brandon. Brandon at 8. Sorry.
Yeah.
And hold on. That means I got to push somebody down. Man, after 5, it just gets so tough. It's like
Yeah.
Very difficult.
you find yourself also like when you've been through a couple of generations of bodybuilding. You look at the name, you're like, wow, that dude's really good. And you're like, fuck, but he was good like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
What's up, Luke? You have anybody you want to change? Switch them around?
Yeah, bro. I gotta change some shit. So we're doing just top 5, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my top 3 is gonna stay the same. It'll be Samson, Derek, Andrew, and then I'm gonna put Bonac in 4th.
Bonac.
I'll go Brandon in 5th.
All
And I'm
right.
gonna bump Carlos to 6th. If that
All
matters.
Where do the rest of you guys have Sean placing? I'm interested.
I've got Sean. We're like 8. I just don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
I have Clarita. I feel like he's either going to be 7th or he's going to get like 5th.
Structurally, I don't think even after Carlos, I don't think he can hang with Akeem's size. I don't think he can hang with James's size. I mean, he could beat James. He could if James isn't sharp, but I think he kind of falls right around that 7-8 mark, in my opinion. Literally just from structural deficiency. That's it.
Yeah, I got him. I got him like 6, 7. Only because.
Well, who do you have him? But then you have him. So who do you have losing to him then?
I got Carlos in my top 5. I think Carlos is gonna be 5th.
So then you have Sean beating guys like who do you have in 4th?
Pull the list back up.
Oh, hold up. Man, it's so fucking difficult.
Why did De La Rosa drop out?
I don't even know.
No
Yeah, I
way.
think mine. I had Samson, Derek. I think Andrew, and then
You
I had a king. I had a king
Dougie.
4th. I think
Okay.
I had a king 4th, Carlos 5th, and then after that, I feel like Sean.
So you think Sean could beat Bonac and Brandon?
I just feel like with Sean being invited, everybody knows he's not big structurally. He's a polished bodybuilder. So I see them not just going off size with him.
No, I don't disagree with that. I just think someone like Bonac, for example, he's not structurally necessarily a big dude either. He's just way more muscular. And I don't know. I think Sean, like I said this before on another podcast, and I know it's all hypotheticals, but like you make that dude 5'9", 5'10", he's probably one of the best, if not the best in the world. Like doesn't get any better than him, really. He's just 180 pounds. I'm saying, like, you can only get so far. Like your eyes just drawn to bigger physiques. I mean, like even like he did the Arnold, was it 2 years ago or last year when Randy competed or whatever? and he did well. He looked great, but he took like 5th,
Mm-hmm.
and that lineup wasn't as good as this lineup.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I just think it's not a matter of like he looks great right now too.
Mm-hmm.
Working with Boston, whatever, but it's stuff he can't overcome. Like when we got into that 212, 202 debate, like that's the reason that there is that classes for guys exactly like him, is just because that you can't overcome where he lacks. Really, it's not. He can't get any better than he is, straight up.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen him. Remember when he won the Legion? He beat.
Yeah, but
Sergio,
he beat guys
Regan.
like he beat Sergio and Regan.
He beat Sergio. Yeah, but you're talking about Samson, Andrew Jack.
Yeah, no. But that's why I'm just saying, like,
because this is
the
the
odds are stacked up against him in this show. How many
the reason he won that Legion show was because he was way sharper than those guys.
That's what I mean. He come in sharp.
Yeah, for sure. There's no doubt.
In short.
There's no doubt. But you're talking about a show with
probably 8 out of the 10 guys.
Are going to be 3 Mr. Olympias in this show. Like there's not the likelihood of 4 or 5 guys coming in off is very low. Like I think I think he can beat dudes who do slip and come in off or miss their peak or whatever, and that's where he can jump to 7, 6. But
that's why I was saying 6 or 7 for me.
But like it would really he'd have to have a good day and they'd have to have a bad one. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Doug's starting to sway me because man, Bonac comes in so hard and Brandon gets hard. No homo, and
Does he?
Bonac is here or there in his later age. So
his updates recently look crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like he posted some pictures recently, and he looks, I don't know why or how the fuck, but he looks like way fresher.
I don't know. Sometimes though, when Sean gets that perfect balance of fullness and sharpness, though. Even though guys are taller than him, I'm just like, fuck, man. That's a mini Ron Coleman.
He's not just like Bonac too, and Brandon. I mean, he's not as on the back end as they are, but like the Olympia was an older look for him. Like he looked old at the Olympia. He redeemed himself in Prague or whatever it was, but like he's been in the game for a minute too. Like his leg is starting to lose that pop. That's kind of what goes first. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like he's obviously one of the best in the world, period. Otherwise, you wouldn't get invited to the show. But I don't know. It's a bodybuilding show at the end of the day. These guys are fucking big, bro.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. You know what I mean? It's the fun part is we all gonna get to see this coming up next week, right? Because I'm not sleeping Derek. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying Samson's gonna win, but I'm not sleeping.
Look at the Prague show, right? I know Bumstead is way taller than him, way structurally bigger, but Sean's more muscular than Chris. And Chris was a steady second place. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't really close between him and Sean.
True.
And Sean's way more muscular. He's just, like I said, structurally, he can't keep up at that point. And this is not just any open pro show. This is an Arnold Classic, and it's probably one of the best Arnold Classics we've seen in the last, I don't know, 5 years, right? Yeah. So, like this isn't like a Legion or some bullshit. This is like as close to the fucking Olympia as you can get.
Yeah, because I'm after I seen the upgrades Carlos made to his back, I'm also I'm excited to just see how everybody.
Carlos excites the shit out of me. He excites the shit out of me. But like, I think the only thing with him is just going to be detail, just detail, like deep lines and shit like that. He's so fucking bubbly. He's got so much muscle, and like he's still young in the sport. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't competed a whole lot of times overall compared to these other guys, at least. So he's still figuring it out. But and like he's probably got the most potential, obviously, other than the top guys. I mean, he's got top 2, 3 Olympia potential for sure. But I just think in this specific show, he'll be in 5th or 6th just because of detail. I think he'll be in shape and he's going to be big and he's going to look crazy. But like even his legs, they're so fucking big. Yeah. Like there's barely any fucking lines there. Just so much tissue.
And his last week when he had that work done, he posted that fucking story.
Yeah, that looked crazy.
Damn.
That looked crazy.
Can you imagine having such an advanced body part that it's like, nah, we don't need to train this anymore. In fact, let's downsize
Let's go
it.
back.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Let's go back on legs.
that shit's
Yeah.
retarded, bro.
That's nuts.
Oh,
Well,
man.
guys, I don't know. Sorry, Luke. It's
Nah, I fucked up, bro. It's all good. My computer crashed on me when I got home. It's terrible, bro.
Hey, mine shut off too, so it
Yeah.
happens. We'll do one later next week. We'll do like 8:30.
Yeah, bet.
Yeah.
That's cool. The closer I get to show, though, I'm gonna be cutting mine short if we up late.
Where you
You might
compete?
have to.
I'm gonna do I'm doing the Pittsburgh Festival. I'm gonna do my open debut.
Okay.
And then get some feedback to see if I'm gonna roll into Chicago or New York. Right after that, because I'm gonna probably be like,
you would roll into the open in those shows?
no,
No,
unless they tell unless I get a do the open. But
Yeah.
I'm the Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh. It's the first
Right.
show I ever did. You know what I mean? It's my 10-year anniversary of bodybuilding. I'm gonna use that show to put on a show for all of my friends and family who can come watch.
Yeah.
You know, Axe and Sledge. We're gonna have a big booth down there. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a dope vibe. And it'll be I'll be able to get on stage again with Nick and Marty. I turned pro with them.
Yeah.
Get myself ready. But the end goal is the Masters Olympia in Tokyo
Right.
August.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's the end.
Mike, you doing Chicago or you doing Texas?
I have nothing planned right now, man. Which I know is not a satisfying answer. But I've been, like I said earlier, kind of like completely off up until early January. And when I mean off, I don't just mean like the sups. I mean like off, like out of the gym, only eating a couple meals a day, dealing with my mother's, being ill, passing away, dealing with her estate. So like, I'm trying not to put that pressure on myself. Thank you.
Yes.
Try not to put that pressure on myself for this year because, like, if we can't salvage 2025, I've kind of come to peace with that. But things are moving so well down here, and this is such a good environment for me that it's completely possible that I do salvage something. But I don't want to, like, for the first time in my life, not put expectations on myself that I don't need to. So
That's good.
Yeah.
if we can do it, it'll obviously be one of the later shows. Tampa, Texas. I haven't even looked at the 212 schedule. I know there's not many of them, but something later. Or if we can't do that, then if I am ready this year, I think the Japan shows in December.
That's normally like November. I think November.
Which, like, I wouldn't mind traveling for that.
See, that's what I wanted to do. The same thing. Like, now I'm gonna get opportunity at the Masters Olympia, but ain't that a cool thing? Like, you could go to Tokyo and do a bodybuilding show, and if you win, you plan on winning, you win some money, and you get to spend some time in a whole different fucking country.
That's the thing that I would do too. Like, if like at a pro level, like you'd want to fucking travel and do like shows that are around the world. I wouldn't even look at the U.S. schedule. I would look at every other schedule and just make something out of it. Have experience with it.
I've always wanted to go to Prague, so that.
Man, listen, especially with the Dubai Pro, you see the money they giving out over there?
Yeah,
bro.
Shit,
dude, I don't even want the money. Fuck the money. I just want to be able to fucking compete. There's like 6 212 shows in the U.S.
Yeah. It would be nice if they brought some more shows.
Is that really how bad it is now?
I think there's 7 total, and there's only 7 because, I shit you not, Jacoby put up his own money to sponsor 212 with Chicago last year.
Chicago.
Yeah.
But then you have fucking bikini.
That's why I did the Atlanta. I did the Atlanta because I was told there wasn't gonna be no 212. And then when I found out there was gonna be the 212 at the Chicago, I was gonna do it, but I had already picked to do the Atlanta. And I wanted to do the Tampa after that, but I was only going to do the Tampa if I placed top 3 at the Atlanta, and I didn't place top 3, so I was like, I'm not going to keep playing.
That's a shit, because every other show, seems like every other pro show, there's like men's physique, bikini, wellness, figure, but you look at 212, you look at open.
No, we don't get no love.
Fuck,
we don't get no love.
Yeah, like a lot of the shows, like 212, women's physique. Like they
women's bodybuilding too. My girl's trying to figure out her plans.
There's what, like 5, maybe 4 shows.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I get it.
All right,
It's a
boys.
money thing, right? Like it's a money thing.
Yeah.
I understand, but like
Yeah.
also, it's not like any of us are getting rich in 212. So I think you can afford like 5 to 6K to pay a few guys
Yeah,
and put on the division. But who am I? I'm not a promoter.
for sure.
Yeah.
%. Well, Mike, thank you for coming on, bro.
Yes,
Yeah, thanks
pleasure.
for having me.
Yes,
This
pleasure.
was awesome. This was awesome. And Luke, like I said, damn, we'll shoot it for 8:30 next time, bro.
bro.
Mike look high as hell. Is your eyes
Yeah,
open?
Mike
God?
falling asleep, bro.
So to be fair, I don't really have open eyes when I'm sober anyway.
Bro,
So
bro,
when I'm not, this shit real
bro,
low.
I was on my phone an hour ago. Mike was up sitting like this. I got back onto my computer. He's like falling asleep over here, bro.
All right, boys.
Yep, you guys have a good night.
Yes.
Have a
Yeah,
good night,
you
guys.
as
Thank you.
well.
All right, fellas.
See you guys.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Talk soon.
Bye.